Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English Pod. My name is Marco.
My name is Catherine, and today we've got an upper intermediate level lesson.
That's right, we're gonna go and buy shoes.
Okay, this is very fun. I like buying shoes, although I have a hard time finding shoes in my size sometimes. But we're here talking about men's shoes specifically.
That's right, we've actually decided to talk about this topic, buying shoes, separately between men and women's shoes, because I think each type of shoe it has its own type of vocab, and that can be very useful for men or women.
That's right. So let's take a listen to today's dialogue, and we'll be back in a moment to talk more about the specifics of men's shoe styles.
Hi, I'm looking for a pair of shoes for my son.
Sure thing. Here we are. If you're looking for dress shoes, we have several different styles of Oxford for boys. We also carry athletic shoes, hiking boots.
Oh, Jacob, how about these sneakers?
Mom, they've got Velcro.
Well, then how about these? What is this style called?
They're tennis shoes. They're very popular with teens and young adults.
Ooh, Mom, can I get these?
What are those?
They're Chuck Taylors. Everyone has them. Can I please?
I don't know. Would they go with your clothes? The backs are really high, and the way the tongue just sticks up, they're almost like a boot. And the sole doesn't look like it would have a very good grip.
They're only $45. And they've got cool fluorescent orange shoelaces. Mom! Mom!
Okay, try them on.
What size are your feet?
Here's a size 9.
We'll try a size 43 on you first and see how that fits.
A what?
They come in European sizes. He should be a size 43. I'll be right back. All right, we're back. So as you saw, we have a lot of different shoe styles. And so we're going to take a look at these on Language Takeaway.
Language takeaway.
Okay, first up, we have a very popular style of shoe. This is called an athletic shoe.
Okay, athletic shoe. Now, I imagine that athletes wear these shoes.
Good guess, Marco. So athletic athletes. This is actually for sports in general. So this is sports shoes, but in English we say athletic shoes.
Okay, so it's not specifically for any type of sport, but they're just comfortable shoes that you can do most sports in.
Right, like running shoes and basketball shoes and soccer shoes. These are all kinds of athletic shoes.
Very good. Okay. So these types of athletic shoes, they're usually they're kind of low, right? They don't
That's
have
right.
a lot of support around the ankle.
No, but they do have a lot of support in the heel,
In
the
the heel.
bottom of your foot.
Right, because you're running, you need that extra support.
Exactly.
Now, on the opposite, if you're going hiking, if you're maybe trekking, then you need a special type of shoe that's going to give more ankle support, and these are called hiking boots.
Okay, hiking boots. So like you were saying, you get a lot of support in your ankle. That's the back of your foot and the area around your leg. So these shoes tend to come higher on your leg. They're taller on your leg. And they're usually pretty heavy.
Yeah. And I think they are more weather resistant. So if it rains or if it's wet, these shoes will respond better.
You're not going to get wet feet.
You're not, yeah. And so hiking boots. And now we have another interesting word. I'd never really understood it, why they're called this way, but we have sneakers.
Sneakers. Okay, I love sneakers. I always wear sneakers. A very common brand that you see with sneakers is Puma. Also Adidas.
Right.
So Converse is another brand. Sneakers are shoes that are not fancy. They're not like leather or work shoes, but they're also not athletic shoes because you don't necessarily use them when you're playing sports. They're basically very simple shoes for, normal daily
Just
stuff.
Normal walking.
Young people wear them usually.
Okay, sneakers. Now, I never understood why they're called sneakers, because I think if you sneak maybe on someone, I guess these shoes are good for sneaking up
Perhaps.
on people.
I don't know. They're less noisy than other shoes.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so we have sneakers. And now another type of shoe that can be a little bit confusing. They're called tennis shoes.
Okay, tennis shoes can be considered a kind of sneaker. Again, it's not the kind of shoe that you would normally wear to work. It's not leather. It's not a hiking boot. They're low shoes, so low ankles generally, and they tie up, you know.
Right. But it's you would think that you use these shoes to play tennis.
Not
But
necessarily.
not necessarily, right? I mean, you don't have to play tennis. Oh, they're not specifically designed to play tennis.
No, perhaps originally they were tennis shoes for the game tennis, but nowadays they're very, very common. They're like sneakers.
Right.
They're shoes that most young people wear to school or to play around in.
Okay, so they're kind of yeah, like you say, a sneaker. And now moving on, these might seem a little bit strange, but we call them Chuck Taylors.
Chuck Taylors, well, basically Chuck Taylor is a brand.
Okay.
Converse, Chuck Taylors. We also call them Chucks. And this is a style of shoe that this brand made very famous. They're very, very thin canvas shoes. So the fabric is not leather, it's canvas.
Okay.
And they come in bright red or black or green.
Yeah, yeah.
And some of them are very low, and some of them have a piece of the ankle that comes up.
So it almost looks like a boot to a certain extent, but it's not like a hiking boot. It's not very hard. It doesn't support your ankle as much. It's just the style is higher.
Exactly. And so because these are made of fabric, they're very thin, they're very light, they're not very good for hiking, for example.
Right. So these are called Chuck Taylors. They're very, very popular with teenagers, right?
That's right. Teenagers all over the world wear Chuck Taylors.
And I think they're very old. This style, these Chuck Taylors have been around for like 30 years,
I think since the 1960s or 70s.
But they're still popular.
Yeah, and they haven't changed.
They haven't changed. Right. So these are the 5 types or styles of shoes that we're going to take a look at. Why don't we move on now to more specific vocab related to the parts of the shoe on Language Takeaway Part 2.
Language takeaway.
Okay, so Jacob is talking to his mother, and his mom wants to know, hey, how about these sneakers? What do you think? And Jacob says, Mom, they've got Velcro.
Okay.
So, Marco, what's this Velcro Jacob speaks of?
Well, as you can see, Velcro is capitalized, right? And so that means this is a proper noun, and it's actually a brand.
Okay, it's like Chuck Taylor's.
Like Chuck Taylor's. So Velcro is supposed kind of like a zipper, right? A fastener. But instead of zipping it up, you just put 2 pieces of cloth together and they stick.
Okay, and when you pull them apart,
They make that sound, yeah.
they make a loud sound. And so sometimes with baby shoes or young children's shoes, we don't want to tie them because that's too hard. So we have Velcro. This is a kind of fabric, like you said, that sticks together. We don't have to spend all this time tying things. So you see Velcro on hats, on gloves, on jackets,
Right.
on shoes. It's a very popular way to make things, close things, or to keep things secure.
In a very easy way, right? You just
Very quick.
push them together and that's it. They're sealed.
Exactly.
So the next time you see it, now you know that it's called Velcro. I imagine in other languages it's probably called the same thing.
well, right, it's the brand name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. And, well, now moving on to the parts of the shoe, we have the tongue.
Okay, well, think about the body part, the tongue,
Right.
right? When you look at your tongue, it's straight and it's flat and it kind of curves at the bottom.
Right.
Well, on a shoe, when you're putting your shoe on, you know, in the front of the shoe can get stuck, you have to pull the tongue.
Right.
It's a piece of fabric or piece of the shoe where the top of your foot is.
Yeah, very good. So that's called the tongue. Now, some shoes have a very small tongue or a low one, and others have a very high one. Like, for example, Chuck Taylors, they have a big tongue.
That's right, very long tongue. And so the tongue is the part that rests on top of your foot, and usually the shoelaces are over the tongue.
Exactly. And now moving on to the bottom part of the shoe, that's called the sole.
Okay, S-O-L-E, sole. This is a really important part of shoes. I always look at the sole before I buy a pair of shoes because this is the part that you use the most because you're walking on the ground.
Right. So for example, hiking boots, they will have a very high sole and they will have kind of like a pattern so that you don't slip if you're walking on dirt, right?
That's right. Sometimes rubber a rubber sole. But other times, like Chuck Taylors also have a rubber sole, but it's very thin.
It's very thin. And some shoes, for example, they have a plastic sole maybe because they're used for other purposes. So they might be a little bit slippery if you go onto a smooth surface.
Exactly.
So the sole, that's the bottom part of the shoe. And the last part of the shoe that we're going to take a look at, and probably the most important, are the shoelaces.
Shoelaces. So shoelaces are basically long pieces of string that you use to tie your shoes closed, because you want your shoes to be tight on your foot. You don't want it to be too loose, otherwise it might fall off.
Right.
And Chuck Taylors and some other shoes are very famous for having crazy colored laces, or for people using crazy colored laces to tie them up.
Right. So that's the part they use to tie or tighten the shoe with. So on the opposite, if a shoe doesn't have shoelaces, it's probably going to have Velcro.
That's right, Velcro or shoelaces.
Okay, so those are all the words that we have for you today. Why don't we go back and listen to the dialogue for the last time?
Hi, I'm looking for a pair of shoes for my son.
Sure thing. Here we are. If you're looking for dress shoes, we have several different styles of Oxford for boys. We also carry athletic shoes, hiking boots.
Oh, Jacob, how about these sneakers?
Mom, they've got Velcro.
Well, then how about these? What is this style called?
They're tennis shoes. They're very popular with teens and young adults.
Ooh, Mom, can I get these?
What are those?
They're Chuck Taylors. Everyone has them. Can I please?
I don't know. Would they go with your clothes? The backs are really high, and the way the tongue just sticks up, they're almost like a boot. And the sole doesn't look like it would have a very good grip.
They're only $45. And they've got cool fluorescent orange shoelaces. Mom! Mom!
Okay, try them on.
What size are your feet?
Here's a size 9.
We'll try a size 43 on you first and see how that fits.
A what?
They come in European sizes. He should be a size 43. I'll be right back. All right, so talking about shoes, you say that you always take a look at the sole. Why is this?
Because I'm always afraid that my shoes are going to wear out. And I don't buy shoes very often. I love sneakers. I love my Pumas. And I love flat shoes. And so when you buy a pair of shoes you really like, you don't want to buy another pair in 6 months. You want to get a pair that has a really good sole so that will last for a long time.
Right. Yeah, that's true. I think for me, yeah, that's probably one of the most important parts is the sole, as long as it's comfortable. Because some soles of some shoes can be very rigid.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit uncomfortable to walk with. And but I don't know. I don't really have that many pairs of shoes if I think about it.
Well, most people have one fancy pair of shoes for special occasions, and then a pair of work shoes that are leather, and then maybe a couple pairs of sneakers and some sandals for the summer.
So, but you have sandals and you have flip-flops, or are they the same?
Well, sandals is basically a kind of shoe. It's an open shoe that you wear in the summer. Flip-flops are a kind of sandal.
Oh, okay.
So they usually have a V in the front, and that's where you put your
big toe,
big toe.
And the second toe.
Yeah, so we wear them in the shower or at the beach. They're usually made of plastic or rubber so that you can get them wet.
Right.
But flip-flops are a kind of sandal.
Yeah, very good. It's very interesting how many styles and types of shoes. And actually for men, I think it's not that complicated. But when we get into women's shoes, then we'll see a lot of different things.
There are too many styles. I can't keep track.
All right, so that's all the time we have for today, but we'll see you guys on the website if you have any questions, any doubts, or if you just want to chat with us, we'll see you at englishpod.com.
See you guys there.
All right, bye.
Bye.
The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word.
A shoe used as a component of formal wear. Dress shoe. A canvas shoe with a pliable rubber sole. Tennis shoe. The flap of material under the laces of a shoe. Tongue. Way of grasping and holding firmly. Grip. A long, thin material used for fastening a shoe. Shoelaces. The underside of footwear. Sole.
Let's try that faster.
The underside of footwear. Sole. The flap of material under the laces of a shoe. Tongue. Way of grasping and holding firmly. Grip. A long, thin material used for fastening a shoe. Shoelaces. A shoe used as a component of formal wear. Dress shoe. A canvas shoe with a pliable rubber sole. Tennis shoe.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Tennis shoe. I love tennis shoes because they're comfortable. I can wear them every day, and when I go out, they still look great. Tennis shoe. Tennis shoes used to be very plain, but now they come in many different colors and many different styles. Tennis shoe. My tennis shoes are old and ratty, but I still love them. Tongue. I put my foot back in my sneaker, pulled up the tongue, tightened my laces, and I kept on running. Tongue. The tongues of these shoes keep falling down. Tongue. The shoe tongue is supposed to keep the laces from rubbing against the foot. Sole. The soles of my shoes were starting to wear down. Sole. I went to the cobbler and got him to put rubber soles on my shoes. Sole. After dancing for several hours, the soles of my feet were sore. Grip. My new sneakers have a much better grip than my old ones. Grip. My shoes lost their grip and I slipped on the polished floor. Grip. As I was climbing the tree, I lost my grip, fell, and broke my arm. Shoelaces. In the Olympics, the shoelaces of one figure skater broke in the middle of his performance. Shoelaces. My brother got me pink shoelaces with Hello Kitty on them for my birthday. Shoelaces. My mom tightened my shoelaces, made a knot, and then told me to go play outside.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English Pod. My name is Marco.
And my name is Catherine. So, Marco, today we're talking about rent and housing.
Right, we're actually going to be moving. We're going to be going to a new apartment or a new house. And so we're going to look at all the words related to this because sometimes it can be a real hassle, right? It can be really difficult.
Absolutely. Well, you love moving, right? You were telling me how much you love moving your stuff and negotiating a new lease.
Well, I like the negotiation of the lease, but not the moving aspect.
No, I don't think anyone likes moving.
Actually, I do like it at times because then you can just throw away so many things that you have no need for and you wouldn't throw away unless you moved.
So let's go check out today's dialogue to find out what happens to the characters.
Okay, that's fine. Bye.
What happened?
That's it. My lease is up. I have to move.
What? Why? Can't you renew it?
The owner apparently is selling this place to make way for the construction of a parking lot.
Well, I can help you pack. We should start looking for a new place for you ASAP.
I think I might move in with my parents for a couple of months until I can find something. You know how hard it is to find a decent place around here. I'm gonna have to put most of my stuff in storage for a while.
Well, let me know if there's anything I can do to help out.
Actually, would you mind looking after my pet tarantula and snake for a couple of weeks?
Sure.
All right, we're back. So, well, it's not much of a big deal. I guess if you have your parents nearby, you can just move back in with your parents.
Easier said than done.
True. We'll get to that in a little bit, but let's take a look at the words that are used today in Language Takeaway.
Language takeaway.
All right, so this first one is an important one because generally when you're looking for a house or an apartment, there are two things you can do. You can buy a house or you can lease a house or apartment. Mm-hmm. So lease here, Marco.
It's basically to rent, right? Mm-hmm. It's a contract where you agree to pay a monthly or a quarterly fee for using that house or apartment.
So do you own your apartment or do you lease it?
No, mine, I lease.
Yeah,
I am not a home owner yet.
Right. So owning a home is a lot more expensive at one kind of period where you have to just pay in and you have maybe a mortgage. But leasing is just a monthly fee, like you said.
So in this case, they had to leave because their lease was expired.
Exactly. So you can, at the end of a lease, do one of two things. You can stop and you can find a new apartment or you can renew your lease.
All right. And that's our next word. To renew your lease basically means to
continue.
To continue.
And this is actually a good word because it can be used with any contract because really a lease is a kind of contract. Mm-hmm. And so I can say, I renewed my job contract.
Or maybe a magazine subscription.
Yeah.
You renewed your magazine subscription.
It's a way of saying that you've committed to paying for the next 6 months or 1 year.
Okay. Well, and after that, as we said, the person decided to move in with the parents. So move in.
Move in, well, we can say he moved his car. He put it in a different place. But to move in is actually to change houses or to change apartments. And you're literally moving your things in, you're moving your clothes in, you're moving into a new home. So you're living in a new place.
So in this case, this person is going to live with the parents. Move in. All right. And our next word is when you have to move, you have to pack.
Okay, so you can pack a lot of things. In this case, you're packing a box with all of your belongings, your books and your pillows and all that. But you can also pack a suitcase or you can pack luggage. So packing is putting things into something so that you can move them.
So you can carry them or take them somewhere.
Exactly.
So in this case, you have to pack your things, put them in boxes to take them to your new home. And our last word is an acronym when you said ASAP.
All right, snap. Come on, ASAP, Marco.
ASAP.
Describe this for us quickly.
All right. So ASAP is an acronym for as soon as possible.
Okay, so you often see this in the office on envelopes or emails.
Right.
So please respond ASAP, ASAP. This means please respond right away.
As soon as you can, as soon as possible. All right, so 5 great words that we've just taken a look at. Let's listen to our dialogue again, and we'll be right back.
Okay, that's fine. Bye.
What happened?
That's it. My lease is up. I have to move.
What? Why? Can't you renew it?
The owner apparently is selling this place to make way for the construction of a parking lot.
Well, I can help you pack. We should start looking for a new place for you ASAP.
I think I might move in with my parents for a couple of months until I can find something. You know how hard it is to find a decent place around here. I'm gonna have to put most of my stuff in storage for a while.
Well, let me know if there's anything I can do to help out.
Actually, would you mind looking after my pet tarantula and snake for a couple of weeks?
Sure.
All right, we're back and we have a couple of different phrases for you. So let's look at those now in Fluency Builder.
Fluency Builder.
Our first one's a little bit unusual. We heard the phrase, my lease is up. So, Marco, let's talk about this phrase, to be up.
All right, so if something is up, as in this case, the lease, it means it's expired, it's finished, right?
So it's over.
It's over.
You can also say, our time is up.
Right.
If we have a meeting. So that's all the time I have. Time to go away.
Time is up. Very good. So it's always related to time or maybe a contract, as in this case, or your lease is up.
So it means over or finished.
All right, so moving on to our second phrase.
To make way for. All right, so this is a great one. This often makes me think of kings and queens in the old days. They say, make way for the king. So you have to
Get out of the way.
Yeah, get out of the way, or to clear some space for them to move because there's too much stuff in the way. And so in this case, the owner of the apartment where the guy was living in is trying to make some space or make way for a parking lot.
Right, so he's basically going to sell the building or house and build a parking lot instead. So they are making way for the new parking lot.
They're clearing space. And this is actually really sad because my childhood home, they destroyed to make way for a larger, ugly, big
Building?
house. Yeah.
Really? See, it happens all the time. Now they're making way for malls and big buildings, and all of our little houses are destroyed. And, well, moving on to our last phrase, the person asked the friend if he would mind looking after the pet snake and tarantula.
I would mind.
You don't like snakes or tarantulas?
Well, I don't mind them as long as I don't live with them.
So would you mind? This is a nice way to start a sentence if you want to ask for a favor, right?
Exactly. So here's an alternative. Hey, Marco, can you do this for me?
I could, maybe.
I could say, Marco, would you mind doing this for me?
It's more polite.
It is more polite and it's a little bit gentler. Yeah.
So it's
And
nice. It's a nice way of asking someone for a favor.
Exactly. And that's why this is funny, because the favor is not like, would you mind watching my kitty? The favor is, would you mind watching my poisonous pets?
Right. All right. So would you mind it? But in the end, the person agreed. So it works, right?
It does work. So would you mind, so listeners, would you mind listening to today's dialogue one more time at its normal speed before we come back to you and talk more about renting an apartment?
Okay, that's fine. Bye.
What happened?
That's it. My lease is up. I have to move.
What? Why? Can't you renew it?
The owner apparently is selling this place to make way for the construction of a parking lot.
Well, I can help you pack. We should start looking for a new place for you ASAP.
I think I might move in with my parents for a couple of months until I can find something. You know how hard it is to find a decent place around here. I'm gonna have to put most of my stuff in storage for a while.
Well, let me know if there's anything I can do to help out.
Actually, would you mind looking after my pet tarantula and snake for a couple of weeks?
Sure.
All right, so moving in now, you have different stages in your life, right? When you move out, for example, you move out of your parents' home and you live on your own, and then maybe, like in this case, you would move back in with your parents. How do you see that happening?
I see it very often. My brother just moved back in with my parents.
Really?
Yeah, I think that it depends on the person, honestly. I mean, especially because the economy has really been suffering for the last year. A lot of people are doing this because, you know, in a lot of cities in America, you can spend $1,000 to $2,000 a month for an apartment to rent.
Right.
And that's a small apartment or a shared apartment. And so I understand this is it's a better option now than it was before because everyone wants independence.
Right.
But sometimes you just can't afford it.
Exactly, and it's a cultural thing because some people move out of their parents' home maybe for college. It's very common in the U.S. to study in another city or another state, right? And but then maybe coming back home and moving in with your parents, or in other cultures, maybe they don't move out at all.Maybe they only move out once they're married.
Exactly. So a lot of people in China, I think in Shanghai specifically, don't move out of their parents' home until they're going to get married.
Right. Well, it does make sense in many big metropolis because, as you say, rent is expensive. Living on your own is expensive. And, well, you don't have anyone to share those costs with, like gas, water, electricity, even food, right? It's cheaper
Exactly.
among more people.
And not to mention a little bit scary living on your own for the first time.
It is a little bit scary. What about having somebody move in with you? Maybe a roommate or girlfriend or boyfriend?
Ooh, that's always the big step.
The big commitment.
A big commitment. You're in a relationship and you ask your partner to move in with you. It's the step before marriage, I guess.
Wow. There's nothing before that? Nothing before marriage?
No.
That's pretty much it.
You tell me, I don't know.
All right. The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word. A contract granting use of property.
Lease.
To cause something to continue to be effective.
Renew.
Wrap up.
Pack.
To put articles in a case or container for moving.
Pack.
A building or an area.
Place.
A space for storing goods.
Storage.
Take care of.
Look after.
To create space for something else.
Make way for.
As soon as possible.
ASAP.
Good.
Decent.
Take care of.
Look after.
Let's try that faster. Wrap up.
Pack.
Good.
Decent.
As soon as possible.
ASAP.
A contract granting use of property.
Lease.
Take care of.
Look after.
To put articles in a case or container for moving.
Pack.
To create space for something else.
Make way for.
Take care of.
Look after.
To cause something to continue to be effective.
Renew.
A building or an area.
Place.
A space for storing goods.
Storage.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Lease. We are only leasing the apartment for 1 year. Lease. I didn't buy the car. It's a lease vehicle. Lease. According to your lease, you'll have to pay a fine for destruction of property. Make way for. Make way for the king. Make way for. We'd better make way for that ambulance. Make way for. The company reduced its stock to make way for the new products. ASAP. I want you to clean up this mess ASAP. ASAP. Get back to me ASAP about the details of the deal. ASAP. If we don't finish this project ASAP, we could be fired. Decent. The city government was full of decent, hard-working people. Decent. The car is decent enough. It gets me from point A to point B. Decent. This is a matter of common decency. You should really apologize for your behavior. Look after. We're looking after my friend's dog this week. Look after. Can you look after my daughter while I'm away? Look after. I put Mary in charge of looking after the Jones account.
In today's story, we'll uncover 5 powerful lessons about managing money. Lessons you might not learn in school but are crucial for achieving financial success. As we dive into Sam's journey, we'll also learn some new words and see how to use them in sentences. This will help us practice English in a fun and easy way. So, stay with us till the end. Once upon a time, in a bustling little town, there lived a 27-year-old man named Sam. One afternoon, he sat on the side of the road, lost in thought. Despite working hard for 5 years, his life hadn't improved. Sam wondered if there was a way to escape poverty and achieve true wealth. As he strolled by a grand mansion, something compelled him to step past the tall iron gate without permission. Little did he know, this daring act would lead him to a life-changing lesson about money. From afar, he saw an elderly man sitting on a garden bench with a cup of coffee in hand. This man was Mr. Hayes, the mansion's owner, a wealthy but humble and generous soul. Sam approached him, politely apologizing. "I'm sorry for entering without permission, Mr. Hayes." Recognizing Sam, Mr. Hayes was surprised by his sudden visit but welcomed him kindly, curious to know why he had come. Sam took a seat beside Mr. Hayes and began, "Sir, I've worked for 5 years, earning a decent wage, yet my life hasn't changed. I don't splurge, but I just can't seem to get ahead. Do you have any advice on how someone like me could become wealthy?" With a warm smile, Mr. Hayes replied, "Anyone can achieve wealth, Sam, including you." He continued, "I'll share 5 principles about money that you won't learn in school. Follow these carefully, and I assure you, you'll find yourself on the path to financial success." Eagerly, Sam listened as Mr. Hayes began. "The first rule," Mr. Hayes said, "is to spend less than you earn. This is the foundation. If you don't master this, you can't move on to the other steps. For example, if you make $5,000 a month, set aside at least $2,000. If it's $3,000, save $1,000. Avoid expenses that exceed your income, whether loans or gambling. Even with a 6-figure salary, without this rule, you'll remain in debt." Sam nodded thoughtfully, absorbing each word. Mr. Hayes took a calm sip of his coffee and continued. "The second rule is to have an emergency fund. Life is unpredictable. Car repairs, a leaky roof, or even layoffs can happen at any time. Without an emergency fund, you're forced to borrow or sell assets at a loss, which restricts your options and adds stress. Think of it as your safety net, protecting your finances when unexpected events arise. Sam nodded again, appreciating the wisdom in this approach. Let's get to the third lesson, which is investing. Now, people like you might feel unsure about investing in a business or stock since you may not have much knowledge. So, the best investment you can make right now is in yourself. Curious, Sam asked. How, sir? Mr. Hayes continued. Take your skill set, whether it's carpentry, plumbing, or customer service. Invest your time, energy, and money into mastering it further. Learn where your boss sources materials or explore ways to market your services better. Use some of your savings to improve your expertise, attend courses, buy tools, or read relevant books. Realizing the value of these words, Sam looked at Mr. Hayes with newfound determination, regretting he hadn't learned this sooner. Mr. Hayes continued with the fourth lesson. Now that you're gaining skills, it's time to start earning more. Once you've honed your abilities, maybe you'll start your own business and your income will grow. You're no longer paid per hour but earn based on what you produce. The harder you work, the more you earn. The sky was getting darker, yet Sam felt no urge to leave. He was eager to learn the final principle. Mr. Hayes looked at him and said, "And finally, the fifth lesson, create passive income. When you've applied the first four principles, you should have extra money. Now, it's time to let your money work for you. You can invest in property, start a rental business, buy a franchise, or research other sources of passive income. Think carefully and choose wisely." How about it, Sam? Are you ready to take on these lessons? Mr. Hayes asked, ending the conversation with a gentle smile. Brimming with excitement, Sam replied, "I used to just go to work, save a little, and hope for wealth to come my way. But I now understand that there's a real strategy, and I'm thankful, sir, for the invaluable guidance." Today we learned new words and sentences through this story about wealth and financial wisdom. Remember, learning English can be fun when you practice regularly. So, keep listening, learning, and growing. Make sure to like, comment, and share how this story helped you improve your English. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next story, where we'll continue learning together.
The English Pod audio review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word.
Something is usual or expected. Norm. The money that a country uses. Currency. The sum of money required to reinstate. Margin deposit. Taking effect rapidly. Drastically. Very quickly. Just a second. Split second. An offer to pay a particular amount of money. Bid.
Let's try that faster.
The sum of money required to reinstate. Margin deposit. Something is usual or expected. Norm. Very quickly. Just a second. Split second. An offer to pay a particular amount of money. Bid. Taking effect rapidly. Drastically. The money that a country uses. Currency.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Norm. What's the norm in this company concerning protocol? Norm. This is the norm, so you'd better get used to it. Norm. Delivery, McDonald's, and street vendors are the norms around here. Currency. Before I went to France, I had to change some of my Canadian currency into euros. Currency. What's the currency in this country? Currency. My country's currency is worth next to nothing in USD. Margin deposit. He decided to start with a margin deposit of GBP 100. Margin deposit. I can't believe that I can trade with USD 1 million deposit when I've only put in a margin deposit of USD 10,000. Margin deposit. One has to be careful with trading using a margin deposit because the risk of losing more money than one has are high. Split second. The gang members were closing in on me fast, so I made a split-second decision to run instead of fight. Split second. My heart pounded as I made a split-second decision and took hold of her hand. Split second. My split-second decision to try a trick on my bicycle in order to impress my friends didn't end well. Bid. The current bid ask for EUR USD is 1.3998-79. Bid. I bought euros at an ask of $1.4235 and sold British pounds at a bid of $1.5001. Bid. The bid for Japanese yen and the ask for Hong Kong dollars are really good right now if you trade in US currency.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to English Pod. My name is Marco.
My name is Catherine, and we're on the road today. We're traveling a little bit.
That's right. Today we have a lesson that was requested by one of our users, and I think it's a very handy lesson if we're traveling. We are buying tickets at a train station.
That's right. So I personally love traveling by train. I think it's a very romantic way to see different countries, different places. We're going to learn all about how to get tickets and how to talk about different parts of a train. So let's first listen to our dialogue.
Hi, I would like to purchase a one-way ticket to Brussels, please.
Certainly, sir. This is our train schedule. We have an express train departing every morning and an overnight train that departs at 9 p.m.
How long does it take to get there?
About 12 hours. We currently have tickets available only for first class on the express train. If you'd like, you can choose a sleeper on the overnight train, which is a bit less expensive.
Yeah, I think that's the best option. Do you serve food on a train? 12 hours is such a long time.
Yes, of course. There is a dining car towards the end of the train where they serve meals at all times. We do provide complimentary water and coffee for all of our passengers.
Great, I'll take it.
Here you are, sir. Your train leaves from platform number 9 at 9 on the dot. Remember to be here at least 30 minutes before your scheduled departure time, or else you might miss your train.
I understand. Thank you very much.
Have a great trip.
All right, we're back. So now we're going to take a look at a couple of words that we've picked out for you on Language Takeaway.
Language takeaway.
So there are many different kinds of tickets you can purchase, you can buy for your train journey. The first kind we're going to talk about is maybe the fastest. This is called an express train.
That's right. So as the name says, it's an express train, that means it's a very fast train. And it depends, because in different places, sometimes they call it the fast train, sometimes they call it the express train. But basically, the idea is that it's a very fast train.
And it's fast usually because it stops very few times. For example, if we want to go on the Paris to Berlin train, it won't stop in every single town. It will probably only stop a couple of times.
Exactly. So apart from the express trains that usually they'll go in the daytime, we have an overnight train.
Overnight trains are very fun, or at least they can be fun if you have a comfortable place to sleep. Basically, the idea is you get on the train at night and you sleep on the train and you get off in the morning.
That's right. It's actually a very popular way of traveling, especially if you're on a budget, because, well, you're basically saving yourself one night of spending the night at a hotel.
That's right. So you're going to have to find a place to sleep if you're taking the overnight train. There are usually different options. The most uncomfortable is usually a seat, like a hard seat. But there are oftentimes special cars on a train where you can sleep for these overnight trips. What are those called?
That's right. And those are called sleeper cars, or you choose a sleeper seat.
Right, so that's pretty easy to remember. Sleeper. The sleeper seats are the seats that fold back like you're lying down. But of course, most places like China and India and Vietnam, for example, have actual cars that have beds in them.
Right. Yeah. So you can, as the name says, you can actually sleep on this train. Now, if you're going to buy tickets, you're not going to find a sleeper train on an express train or a train that travels during the day. These are only available at night, usually.
That's right. So sleeper car is what you want to look for if you're traveling overnight. And in those cases, you oftentimes get hungry. You need to eat. So where do you go to eat?
That's right. We're going to look for the dining car on the train.
Okay, so think about the word dining room. Dining room, dining car, this means the place where you eat.
That's right. So we're going to look for a dining car, and it's usually in the front of the train, I think, and you can just go and get a quick meal over there.
That's right, dining car. And finally, we have another very important word here. It's all about getting on and off the train. So where do you do that?
Well, you go to the platform, the specific platform where your train is leaving. So in this case, this guy has to go to platform number 9.
Okay, so usually that means that there is a cement or a stone block where you stand, the train comes to the station, people get off, you get on. So the place where that all happens is the platform.
That's right. So remember that in airplanes or in airports, usually you look for a terminal. For train stations, you're looking for a platform.
All right, and that number is going to be very important. So look at your ticket and find out which platform your train will be arriving or departing from.
That's right. Okay, so now why don't we review these words? Let's listen to the dialogue again, and we'll be back in a bit.
Hi, I would like to purchase a one-way ticket to Brussels, please.
Certainly, sir. This is our train schedule. We have an express train departing every morning and an overnight train that departs at 9 p.m.
How long does it take to get there?
About 12 hours. We currently have tickets available only for first class on the express train. If you'd like, you can choose a sleeper on the overnight train, which is a bit less expensive.
Yeah, I think that's the best option. Do you serve food on a train? 12 hours is such a long time.
Yes, of course. There is a dining car towards the end of the train where they serve meals at all times. We do provide complimentary water and coffee for all of our passengers.
Great. I'll take it.
Here you are, sir. Your train leaves from platform number 9 at 9 on the dot. Remember to be here at least 30 minutes before your scheduled departure time, or else you might miss your train.
I understand. Thank you very much.
Have a great trip.
Okay, so we've got some really great phrases today on Fluency Builder. Not that many of them, but they're very useful. The first one is a kind of ticket you can buy.
That's right. We're looking for a one-way ticket to Brussels.
Okay, so a one-way ticket means you go to Brussels, but you don't come home. Maybe you have a flight later, or you have a car waiting for you. You don't need a return ticket on that train. One-way ticket is the opposite of a round-trip ticket.
That's right. So usually, for example, if you live in New York and you're going on vacation, you're going to buy a round-trip ticket because you need to go back to your city. But in this case, we're getting a one-way ticket. So we're just buying a ticket that'll only take us there. It's not going to bring us back.
Okay, one-way ticket. And after that, we have a good question. This is something we can ask in many, many different situations. Here, the person buying the ticket wants to know, how long does it take to get get there. He's talking about Brussels.
That's right. So let's take a look at this structure. We can say, how long does it take to, and then we can add another verb there. So for example, we want to know the amount of time it is going to require. For example, here we are asking how long does it take to get there, in this case to Brussels. We are asking how much time is needed to go to Brussels. But what if we change the last part?
Well, there's anything. We could say anything here. We could say, how long does it take to bake a pizza? Or, for example, Marco, how long does it take for you to do your hair in the morning?
Like 20 seconds.
Okay, not very long.
Not very long.
You could even change the name of the place you're going to. So how long does it take to get to Beijing?
Exactly. So just remember this structure when you want to ask the amount of time needed. Of course, there are other ways, and sometimes it's very common to make a little bit of mistake saying how much time to Beijing or something like this.
Or how many hours. We don't really say that in English. We say how much time. So how much time does it take?
All right. And what about when when the person that's selling the ticket said, okay, the train leaves from platform number 9 at 9 on the dot.
Okay, so I'm not really sure where this idea of a dot comes from, but I think it has to do with clocks. So basically, when you look at a clock and all of a sudden the hand comes to 12, so it's 9 o'clock, the hand is on the 12, that is on the dot. That means exactly.
Okay, so the train is leaving at 9:00, not 9:30, not 9:15. It's leaving exactly at 9 o'clock.
So we can also say this in normal speech when we're talking to our friends. I could say, Marco, we're going to leave at 6 on the dot. Any later and we'll miss the movie.
Exactly. So, but when you say on the dot, you're usually emphasizing that it leaves promptly. It's not going to be late, and you're kind of emphasizing a person to be on time.
Yes, please don't be late, because so 9:01 or in my case 6:04, these are not okay because they're too late.
Exactly. So if I say I'm going to pick you up at 4 o'clock on the dot, it usually means I don't really want to wait, so please be ready at 4.
All right, so on the dot.
All right, so now let's listen to our dialogue for the last time, and we'll be back to talk with you a little bit more.
Hi, I would like to purchase a one-way ticket to Brussels, please.
Certainly, sir. This is our train schedule. We have an express train departing every morning and an overnight train that departs at 9 p.m.
How long does it take to get there?
About 12 hours. We currently have tickets available only for first class on the express train. If you'd like, you can choose a sleeper on the overnight train, which is a bit less expensive.
Yeah, I think that's the best option. Do you serve food on a train? 12 hours is such a long time.
Yes, of course. There is a dining car towards the end of the train where they serve meals at all times. We do provide complimentary water and coffee for all of our passengers.
Great, I'll take it.
Here you are, sir. Your train leaves from platform number 9 at 9 on the dot. Remember to be here at least 30 minutes before your scheduled departure time, or else you might miss your train.
I understand. Thank you very much.
Have a great trip.
All right, so you mentioned you really like to travel on trains.
I do.
Why is that?
Well, I like that trains are kind of slow. So when many trains are slow. Some trains, as we said, like express trains are faster. But if you're traveling in a new place, it's a wonderful way to see the country. Because maybe you're going from one city to another city. Well, it's nice to see what's in between cities.
Exactly.
And so that's why I like to be on trains.
I actually also really enjoy taking the overnight trains because I sometimes get a little bit uncomfortable if I travel for too long, for example, on an airplane or a car. So if I fall asleep and I wake up where I wanted to go, it's really nice.
Well, and I think it's nice also to be kind of rolled asleep, lulled asleep by the train. Have you had any very memorable train experiences?
Traveling around, I have met some interesting people, and actually they, local people, so they start talking to you and really curious because obviously you're a foreigner in their country and try to get to know you and maybe even give you a little bit of advice. And if you don't speak the language, it's even a little bit more interesting because you're trying to communicate and you pick up a lot of words.
That's true. I actually heard some really interesting stories from people who took the Trans-Siberian Railway from Beijing to Moscow. They said the more vodka you drink, the more foreign languages you speak. So I don't know if any of our users have done that. You guys should let us know if you have any fun train travel experiences. I know Marco certainly has some. I've got some of my own. So we'll all have to share on our website, EnglishPod.com.
Right. And if you have any other questions, we'll see you guys there.
Bye.
Bye. The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word.
A ticket that allows you only to go to a certain place. One-way ticket. To leave, start a voyage. Depart. A flat elevated portion of ground. Platform. On time, precisely at a certain time. On the dot. Planned at a specific time to leave. Scheduled departure time.
Let's try that faster.
To leave, start a voyage. Depart. Planned at a specific time to leave. Scheduled departure time. A flat elevated portion of ground. Platform. A ticket that allows you only to go to a certain place. One-way ticket. On time, precisely at a certain time. On the dot.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
One-way ticket. I have a one-way ticket to Paris and have no plans on ever coming back to North America. One-way ticket. My friend bought a one-way ticket to the middle of China and then managed to travel around for a month on the generosity of the people he met. One-way ticket. I only need to buy a one-way plane ticket because I plan on taking the train back. Depart. The train will depart at 6:30. Depart. We will depart as soon as we have de-iced the plane. Depart. The bus will be departing again in 10 minutes, so use the washroom quickly. Platform. We waited in the waiting room at the train station for half an hour before they finally let us onto the platform. Platform. I only had 3 minutes until the train would leave, so I ran down the platform as fast as I could. Platform. The Hogwarts Express leaves from platform 9 3/4. On the dot. They left at 10 p.m. on the dot. On the dot. She arrived at 7:05 on the dot. On the dot. I think that the artist's representation of Shanghai in this painting is right on the dot. Scheduled departure time. The scheduled departure time for your plane is 1:45. Scheduled departure time. The plane has been delayed 1 hour from the scheduled departure time. Scheduled departure time. I received an email saying that our scheduled departure time has been moved ahead by half an hour.